Hello and welcome to this latest webinar in our International Education and Schools Fair series. Future Ready Education for Future Success. And I'm here today with Kate Carden-Brown, Director of Admissions and Head of Higher Education, Epsom College in Malaysia. So, welcome to you, Kate.
Hello, Fiona.
Yeah, marvellous. So just tell us where you're in Malaysia. Can you give some context to where actually you are in Malaysia, where the school is based?
Yeah, so we're based on a very beautiful 50-acre campus, soon to be 80 acres, 15 minutes from Kuala Lumpur International Airport and about an hour from KL city centre.
Wonderful. Yeah. So really very accessible for parents coming to visit their children.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yes, very accessible. So students are able to fly in and get to school very, very easily. So much so, especially for Singaporean families, for example, we offer weekday boarding, so they can come to us on a Sunday evening, fly in, and then fly back to Singapore to spend time with their families on the weekend, because it's such a very, very short flight. And like I say, such a very short distance to the airport. Yeah.
And for dual career families, it's a great place to base yourself when you come to visit the children. And obviously Asia is a very hot destination for a lot of our viewers and readers at Relocate Global and Think Global People. So a very lively economic environment, a very pacey, upbeat and technologically very advanced. So it really must be very exciting.
Well, I have to say, we really do enjoy, as a family, enjoy living in Malaysia. It's very easy. Everyone speaks English. It's very culturally diverse. It's very accepting. It's a very easy place to settle. And of course, it's got amazing food and amazing weather. Yes.
Yes, fantastic. So what about the ages of the children? What age can they start?
So we welcome students through from 3 years old all the way up. So through the prep school, all the way up to senior school, IGCSE and A-level. So our oldest students will be 19 or so when they leave us, 18, 19 years old.
And so co-educational and the boarding mix. And tell us about the sort of internationalness of the school, because I think you have lots of different nationalities represented, and you're really educating young people for the future and to take a place on the world stage.
Absolutely. Yes, we're very, very international. We're a truly international school. So our students come from 23 different nationalities currently. So just under 50% of our families are Malaysian. And then the other sort of 52% come from 22 different countries. So we've got Australians, New Zealand, we've got Russian, various areas across Asia, some British. So yes, very, very international, and it does make for a really interesting student body and a really tolerant student body. The children make friends with each other, from all sorts of different nationalities, linguistic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, and that makes for a really healthy mix. And when we're talking about being future ready, they're growing up already very internationally and globally minded. Yeah.
And the curriculum. So your sister school is obviously Epsom College in the UK, and you're a British system, or can you just expand on that, because people may not understand?
Yes, we are the sister school of Epsom College UK in Surrey, and essentially we deliver the same product. So we deliver the British national curriculum. We deliver IGCSEs, international GCSEs. Some of our students will sit GCSEs. The only difference is that in an IGCSE, an international GCSE, the questions in the exam paper will not be British centric. They won't make references to language or destinations or sites, for example, that only a British person or somebody who's grown up in Britain would understand. So IGCSEs and A levels. It's a British curriculum, yeah.
And the education for the younger children is based on the British curriculum as well.
Yeah. Here's the British national curriculum. The only difference is we've got, for our very young students, we've got something called the English Mandarin Immersion Programme, which is basically a dual immersion program. So students join us when they're little, when they're 3. 3 up to 7 years old can come into this program. After that, they're streamed. But basically, it's a program where they study the British national curriculum, but bilingually. So one day they will study in Mandarin. They will study all of the topics, the lessons in Mandarin with the Mandarin team. And the next day they will study in English with the English team, the British team. And it goes like that. So one day Mandarin, one day English, one day Mandarin, one day English. There's no repetition. But what happens is the students associate the language with the teachers, and they very, very rapidly progress. And we can see already that some of our students are making extremely fast progress. I myself went to a school like that, albeit in Wales. I'm fully bilingual, and so it's a similar sort of concept here. So for those families who want their children to grow up bilingual English Mandarin, that might be something of interest.
And do they progress the Mandarin all the way through school?
So we're aiming at the moment, it's a relatively new program. We're in our 2nd year. So we're aiming to bring it up through the prep school. It will be a pathway. So there's going to be the standard, English medium pathway and the English Mandarin immersion pathway. Families will be able to choose, but it will come to an end at the end of primary school, and then they'll integrate into our standard secondary school. It will all be English medium, but by then they will be fully bilingual, those students that joined us at the beginning.
Yes, and a wonderful skill to have. And also, I think you teach the Singapore maths learning strategy. Can you explain that? Because I think people have heard about that, but perhaps don't understand what it involves.
Yes, it's just a way of delivering mathematics. Essentially, the maths is the same, but it's a very, children work things out. It develops independence. It develops the ability to apply knowledge in new contexts. So pre-learn knowledge in new contexts. It's very rigorous and very, very challenging. But again, our Asian students are very, very talented mathematically. We've got some really, really talented mathematicians. So we need a program that's going to be rigorous for them. But it's still the subjects that studies are still the British national curriculum. So we deliver Singapore maths, but that's the maths lessons, but it's still part of the British curriculum.
And of course, you have a reputation for excellence, and where your young people go on to university and to higher education. So let's sort of just fast forward a bit to where do students go? And I mean, nowadays, parents also are very keen to know what sort of final education their young people might have. So you're based in a very exciting part of the world. You must get a huge range of very elite and very bright young people. So it's a big task, but I think that's one of your specialisms. So perhaps you can explain how you take them through the different levels and onto that further education career.
Yeah. So our students go on to study all over the world. The majority will go to the UK, Canada, or America. But we do have students who go to study in other places. So, for example, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, the Netherlands, Germany, Japan as well. And how do we prepare our students for university? A lot of it is building their confidence. If they don't apply, some of them have got big dreams. If they don't try, then they're guaranteed not to get a place. And if they do apply, then they might get a place. So we encourage them to try. We try and encourage them to think big and to experience all sorts of different opportunities, embrace every opportunity presented to them early on, because obviously if they're applying to America and Canada, places like that, they will be looking at their profile from year 10 upwards. UK is more focused on their IGCSE and their A-level grades as opposed to what they did previously. But we try and identify and help the students to identify their passions early where possible, and to pursue them, to develop them, and give them lots of opportunities to take their learning outside of the classroom so that they can really shine at interview and bring in new things that they haven't necessarily been taught by somebody else, but they've gone away and found out for themselves. So different research projects, they might lead an academic society. We've got a very vibrant super curricular program, lots and lots of different academic societies here: business economic society, humanities society, robotics. We've got what else have we got? Different sports societies. We've even got a Formula One society, which sounds sort of bit cliche, but actually it brings engineering and physics in as well. So the students have lots of opportunities to develop their passions, and we try and develop skills so that they are able to shine at interview. Interesting things to say, interesting personal statements.
And I think you do quite a bit of debating as well.
We do. We've got debating. We've got British, English medium debating. We've also got a very successful Mandarin debating team as well. Very fortunate. We've got a member of staff who's Chinese, who's very passionate about that. And so one of our students who's actually a Mandarin speaker has just got a place at an elite university in China, the first one to do that. So that's exciting, and that's probably largely thanks to their involvement in the debating scene. But yeah, lots of opportunities to take part in public speaking, MUN as well, because again, those when we're talking about being future ready, it's how you present yourself, it's how you come across, and that's something we focus on. We try and make sure that all of our students, even if they don't feel confident inside, I tell them to fake it till they make it, so that they can stand up, they can present themselves well, and it's an upward spiral. Of course, not everyone enjoys public speaking, but it's a really, really important skill to have, and to be able to present well. Something we try and develop in our students.
And I think you have quite a close mentoring program, don't you, to enable students to really reach their potential. And of course, being in an area where you are, with vast impact of business people going in and out, plus the growth in Asia, I imagine you get access to some very good external speakers and people in business and public life who are willing to come in and share their knowledge and inspire young people.
We are very, very fortunate like that. So we do foster strong links with different universities all over the world and invite them to come in and speak with our students. So I've actually had somebody in this morning from a medical school to come and speak with the students one-to-one, because again, when those students make their application, they know who they're applying to, and who they're applying to knows them. But in addition, we've got a really supportive governing body, and they use their network to put us in contact with high-profile entrepreneurs, C-suite leaders in their field, lawyers, politicians, etc. And they come in and they're part of our Epsom Live Talk series. So we've got the ex-Prime Minister coming in soon, who's going to come and speak with our students. And very often these people will stay behind. They're very generous. They give their time. They'll stay behind and they'll meet one-to-one with students. And some of these people also are part of our internship program. They offer internships to our students. And again, that's something that can be really powerful for the students when they're making their applications and when they're thinking about what it is that they'd like to do in the future. So our school is linked to the Tune group. So we've got fintech opportunities, law, medicine, hotellery, airlines.
Yes, everything's possible.
Everything possible, really. And so the summer break, the year 12 students will go away and they will have opportunities to take part in internships or shadowing people in their professional careers.
But this future fit approach is also about making young people resilient, isn't it? And building up their strengths and finding their unique talents and having a go at things. But sports and academics are very intertwined, it seems, at Epsom College. And you've got some absolutely fabulous facilities, and with more and more coming on board. So perhaps you can give us a quick whisk through what the facilities are like and why sport is so important to young people.
So we really do want to deliver a holistic education to the students in our care. Of course, academics are incredibly important, and excellent academic outcomes are absolutely at the heart of what we do. However, happy children are going to learn better. So we want our children to feel happy, to feel safe. We're a boarding school. A boarding school can be a wonderful place if you feel happy, but you can imagine if you're not happy, it's the opposite. So it's really important to us that we get to know our students as individuals, that we build really strong relationships with them, that we are excellent role models to them, that we understand that they're going to make mistakes and every day is a fresh start, and that we've got a really solution-focused approach. And to build relationships with children, lots happens outside the classroom. So that we've mentioned the debating and the co-curricular activities and the super-curricular activities. We've got lots and lots of sports, music and drama as well. So sporting wise, we've got the Moratoglu Tennis Academy. So we've paired with Patrick Moratoglu, who was Serena Williams's coach. We've got the only academy, the other Moratogo Academy in the world outside Nice. We are opening a golf academy and pairing with La Liga football academies. We're going to have football and golf as well to a very, very high level, in addition to all the other things that are already here. So we've got squash, we've got swimming, we've got badminton, we've got excellent hockey pitches. But basically there's a little bit of everything. And if we haven't got it, so for example, we haven't got horse riding on site, but some of our students, if that's what they want to do as interest, then you can go and do that not far away. So we'll make sure that those opportunities are available to the students. If there's enough students that want to do it, that will be on our co-curricular program. And all of those things feed into, developing students' interests. And as teachers who are working in a boarding school, if we go and have to build a raft with a child, or if we have to learn to ride a horse, with a group of students, it does make the dynamic between you and the student, it changes it, and it's good, and you're able to foster really strong connections.
And of course, all these different sports, individual children and their parents will have a passion for particular sports, but I think that football has been always very popular. And I noticed just this week, when we've been having an emphasis on International Women's Day, there's been great initiatives for girls playing football, and football is something that really captures the imagination. So I think you've got the FIFA approved 4G AstroTurf football.
Yes, we do. We've had that since the outset. Yes, we are really, really lucky, and we've got girls teams as well as boys teams here, and we've got some really, really keen females football staff. So our head of maths is a very keen footballer, and she goes and competes at the weekend as well. So lots going on.
And connections with the Spanish Football League system, is that right? I'm not a great football expert, but I know.
Neither am I.
But I think we get the feeling there. So for elite young people with elite sports potential as well, whatever the sport, they will be fully immersed. So
it's all about lots and lots of opportunities to grow as a person, and to sport does develop skills and attributes that feed into academics and enable you to be successful as an adult. Those grit, determination, resilience, time management, all of those things.
Yes. And of course, the layout of your campus as well. I mean, it's a beautiful setting, and even with the cricket facilities, it's quite a sort of surprise. I did visit, as you know, some years ago, and it was very impressive. Amazing to see these wonderful facilities in the middle of Malaysia. So that's very exciting. So what about enrichment programs? So what does that mean? And of course, that is important about developing citizens of the world and building the rounded person and developing their creative side as well, which also feeds into the confidence from a very early age, as well as you've also got the access to the outside and the wonderful access to nature. So can you give us a bit of a feel about how the enrichment programs work and what's on offer?
So basically, after school every day we have co-curricular activities. So they happen after school is finished. There's a co-curricular program that the children will opt for, and that lasts a term. So that can be music, sports, drama, debating. It could be sewing. It could be candle making. Literally anything. It's largely led by our staff. So if a staff member has got a particular interest in something, so I'm interested in MUN and debating, so that's my thing. Whereas somebody else is interested in robotics, and somebody else baking is another thing, cookery classes. So it depends on the teachers and what their interests are. In addition to that, we've got co-curriculars that are led by students. So we've got a soup kitchen CCA. So some of our students have been quite moved by, it really began during COVID actually, in seeing how some people lost their revenue and they had to go to food banks, etc. So we've got a group of students who have set up their own CCA, and they are collecting food together and also making food and collecting clothes, etc. And then they take those items into KL to an organisation. We've our Business and Economic Society, student-led, student-conceived, student-led. They set up 2 businesses. One is a pop-up cafe where they do market research and then they sell their wares, and another one is clothing. They've got a thrift shop, so second-hand uniform, as well as they've had a hoodie competition that for the students where they've designed their own hoodies and merchandise that's going to be sold in our school shop. And that revenue then, 50% of the revenue goes back to charity, and they're actually in KL at the Turkish consulate delivering money raised for the plight of the Turkish families who have been hit by the earthquake, the recent earthquake. So enrichment can be, it's co-curricular. It can also be academic. I've mentioned a few things, where students, I've got academic societies. So the Humanities Society, for example, has organised webinars, podcasts, discussions, debates on some areas of interest to them. So that might be the benefits of war, for example. That's a recent one that came up. Innovations, technological advancements that have come about as a result of war is a recent thing that they've looked at. And it can also be sort of a human thing. We've got an academic society called the Comfort Society, because we've got 2 students who have come to us. They're sponsored by basically they're very talented musicians, and they are here on a full scholarship, and they are very grateful that they are able to be here, but they obviously can't return home, and they have experienced homesickness, and they've set up the Comfort Society. So they invite in speakers about mental health. They talk about meditation and what it is to be homesick and how to overcome homesickness, and just basically it's a safe place to be, to talk about challenges, and there's the first aid CCA as well. So there's lots of different, the enrichment can be whatever. It can be whatever the students are interested in that term.
Yeah. And that all combines to make these emotionally intelligent young people, which employers of the future. And
compassionate. Yeah. It's really important that, when I'm talking about skills and attributes and resilience, determination, we don't want students to be hard. We want, boarding school is a place where the students do, many parents will send their children to us to become independent. Of course, that's important, but we want them to be thoughtful, reflective, compassionate, empathetic, open-minded, tolerant, young citizens, basically, ready to take up their place and to be moral and principled doctors, politicians, leaders, lawyers, and, people who think. And who have had opportunities to collaborate on projects with students who may not share the same beliefs as them, or the same background of them, or the same, kind of outlook on life, but they might disagree about things. We don't expect all of our children to be friends with one another, but they can coexist peacefully and compromise on things. And that's something that I witness, and I think is really, really special, and is something that I think will be really, really positive for those students as they grow up and take up their places as husbands, wives, employers, leaders, whatever it is that they might be.
And there's certainly plenty to do and plenty of fun there as well. I think you've just celebrated a visit from groups of people across the arts. This is a pop opera. Do tell us about that. Yeah. That looks such fun, and the young people are obviously thoroughly enjoying it. So as a sort of finale to that, you'll certainly get a lot of fun and stimulation. Perhaps
we do.
The activities.
Yeah, so that was an event, 5era. They're an opera pop opera vocal group from Thailand that were invited in. Again, thanks to our governing body, they're invited in, and our musicians were able to perform with this professional group, which was a fantastic opportunity. And we had an evening event that, this group did all sorts. They sang Lady Gaga songs, Queen, ABBA, and everyone was up and dancing. We invited the parents as well. It was a fantastic night. So we do have lots of fun activities, and we've got boarding houses here. We have house drama competitions where the children write their own script and, they perform their pieces. That's great fun. We have music nights. We've got a night at the movies coming up soon. So our music department are hosting a night at the movies where basically, children are going to perform their favorite songs from the movies. Again, great night. And we're looking forward to some events towards the end of term. We've got a cultural event coming up. We call it the Epsom Edge, where there's music, there's drama, often written by the students and performed by the students. Parents come in, trying to foster a community where we celebrate everyone's skills. You know, not everyone is going to be a genius academics, but they might be amazing on stage, or they might be an amazing musician, and celebrating those skills and enjoying each other's skills and attributes is really, really important.
And developing confident young people who can take the place on the world stage, whatever that might be. So you really seem to be doing a great job of developing young people for a future fit world. So thank you very much indeed for talking to us today. Is there anything, well, maybe let's just have a few glimpses of the campus and just talk us through and give us your final thoughts for parents and employers and the relocation professionals who support these moves, what it's all about coming to Epsom College in Malaysia. Thank you.
Okay, so this is our campus, and you can see it's sprawling, and I think it's very secure. I want to say as well, I think if you're looking for a boarding school, our campus is very secure. It's guarded. We've got a fence around the perimeter. There are various entry points, and you're not able to come in without an appointment or unless you've got an ID card. So it's a very secure, safe space. And all of the facilities are on site. So you can see the tennis in the top right there and the golf, and then the main academic block in the centre, and then the staff apartments are there off to the right. So all of our staff live on site, bar two. So again, we go into the boarding houses and staff in the evenings to support the students. And in this way, we really do. We live and learn together here. Our slogan, what you'll see on the walls around the school is nurture, educate, inspire. We want to really nurture the young people in our care. Obviously, we want to educate them, but in a broad sense, not just limited to academics. We want them, like I've said, like we've discussed, to be educated, to be thinkers, to be reflective, and to feel inspired and to enjoy their learning. And here are some pictures of various activities, our string ensemble, our Moratoglu Tennis Academy. The top right-hand one is a recent drama event, the boy with the sort of spiky things that looks like a tortoise. He's dressed as a durian, so you can Google that later. It's a Malaysian fruit that you love or hate. And then our DT team, they're the design technology team in our very well-equipped design and technology studio.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that whistle-stop tour of Epsom College in Malaysia. Thank you so much for your time. We've been speaking to Kate Carden-Brown, who is Director of Admissions and Head of Higher Education, Epsom College in Malaysia. And please do contact Kate via the admissions at epsomcollege.edu.my, and they'll be pleased to hear from you. So my name's Fiona Murchie. I'm the Managing Editor and Founder of Relocate Global and Think Global People. This has been part of our series for the International Education and Schools Fair. Please do have a look at our website and find out more about schools around the world that will welcome families on the move. Relocate Global is a multimedia, and we provide across the education area our autumn and spring International Education and Schools Fair, practical material in our guides to international education and schools, and you'll find on the website featured schools around the world. Plenty of articles, videos and webinars are available throughout the year, and on our new sister website, thinkglobalpeople.com. So please keep informed with developments